I've hit the button that says go live, so apparently we're starting. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're ready to learn a few more phrasal verbs. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. My second monitor wasn't in the right spot. Everything needs to be in just the right spot for me to do an English lesson. We'll start in about 30 seconds. I'm just going to make sure that everything's working. It looks like it is. Yes, sir. Microphone's working. Video's working. We'll start this lesson on phrasal verbs, part 3, in about 13 seconds, it looks like. Let's see here. What else do I need to do? I think that's everything. I think I'm ready to get this lesson started. Should we count it down? 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about phrasal verbs. And as you can see, this is part 3. If you didn't watch the first 2 lessons, I recommend you take some time at some point to sit down and watch those as well, and you'll get a sense of some of the most common phrasal verbs that we use in English. Again, phrasal verbs are verbs that have 2 components, and sometimes it's hard to know what they mean because the addition of the preposition can sometimes change the meaning of the actual verb. So you'll see what I mean when I start talking about them in this lesson. But once again, welcome to this lesson. Part 3, I think I will probably do a part 4, and that will round things out, and I'll have 4 lessons on what I think are the 100 most common phrasal verbs in English. So once again, welcome to this English lesson about phrasal verbs. I am just going to check one thing for a second. Give me a moment. Whoa, I have lots of tabs popping up. I just wanted to check one thing, and then we will get started. I'll say hi to everyone in a moment. Let's see here. I see Osman Lolly Lolly Donez. Know That is here. Know That's already asked a question. Excellent work. Let's see. Know That says you're in the right spot. That should be enough. Yes. Tanya says hello everyone. Fritz, Juan, Practical, Juan, Triana, Marcia, Hati, and I can't pronounce the rest. Good to see all of you. When I scroll back, I know Wanda, Freddie Wolf, Key Park, Lolly Lolly, Ismail, Wanda Prado, Know That. I said hi to already, but that's okay. We were chatting a little earlier, all of us that were here, about the weather a little bit, and it is not very nice here right now. It is 3 or 4 degrees, maybe 7 degrees. When I look outside, it's just muddy and wet, and there's hardly any snow left on the ground. That makes me a little bit sad. Key Park says phrasal verbs could do part n+1. Yes, I could go to infinity probably, but we'll see. Maybe I'll do one more next week, and then I'll sprinkle some more phrasal verb lessons throughout the year. Anyways, good to see everyone. If you are new here, don't forget the chat is for good English conversations. So do have a few conversations with the other viewers who are in the chat. If you have a question, please use the form that is shared regularly by Nightbot, but can also be shared if a member types !link, and that will prompt Nightbot to actually pop the question form up. Please don't ask questions in the chat, because it gets a little bit tricky sometimes, although the chat sometimes is quite quiet during the lesson. But it's just a little easier for me if you ask questions using the form. I think we should get started. I think we should really do that. I think I have pushed all the right buttons. I have tested everything. I think I should make sure my camera doesn't go to sleep. There we go. And we should get started. I feel like I'm talking a little fast this morning. I'll try to slow down. To split up. So when you split something up, if you look at the candies on the table, sometimes when I was a kid, my mom would buy a bag of candies and then she would split up the candies. She would divide them into little piles. There were 5 of us, by the way, my brothers and sisters. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And my mom would split up the candies so we all got the same amount. If you look at the far picture though, it's a scissors cutting a marriage certificate in half. People can also split up. If someone's dating someone and they stop dating, you could say, oh, they're not together anymore, they split up. If people are married and they decide to separate, or they decide to go even further and get a divorce, By the way, when you separate, you just don't live together. When you get a divorce, it's legal that you're no longer married. And we would say, oh, they split up. Yeah, Jack and Frida, I haven't used the name Frida before. Yeah, Jack and Frida aren't together anymore. They split up a couple of weeks ago. So it means to end a relationship or to divide things up so everyone gets the same amount. Two meanings. To act up. So a lot of machines in the world eventually don't work properly. The biggest example for me, or the biggest example in my life, is the photocopier at work. Sometimes it will act up. It'll have paper jams. It will stop working for no reason. Sometimes my car will act up. Sorry, my van. I drive vans. My van will act up. Maybe the engine won't run right, or there will be a weird shake. Actually, my blue van right now has a weird shake. It's starting to act up a bit. So when a machine doesn't work properly, we often say it is acting up, or we say, oh, if you're going to use the photocopier, just be careful because I think it might act up on you. So it might not work properly. To come across. So there's two versions of this, by the way, to come across and to come across as. I'll talk about this one first. If you're out for a hike, you might come across some garbage. If you're out, I'm trying to think here. This is probably the best example. Yeah, when it means to find something you weren't expecting to find. So you might come across some garbage. When I go to school, sometimes when I walk through the school, I'll come across some students' backpacks just sitting in the hallway and no students around. So it means that you're obviously moving or walking and you find something as you are doing that. When you drive on the highway, you might come across slow drivers every once in a while, and that might be frustrating for you. To come across as, though, describes a person's personality a little bit. This guy comes across as angry. I think I come across as nice. So that was kind of bold of me to say that. It's a way to describe what you think of someone when you meet them and see them. Okay, so years ago, I had a boss who came across as friendly, and that was really nice to have a boss. He comes across as quite friendly. I know that, let's see, Jen comes across as someone who doesn't talk quickly. She's a very quiet person, so she comes across as very thoughtful and considerate. So it's how you describe how someone is, I guess. To run into, this is a very common one. Sometimes when I go to the grocery store, I run into a friend. A few weeks ago, I ran into my sister at the grocery store. Notice I switched to the past tense. This does not mean that I drove my car and hit my sister's car. It can mean that. But generally in English, if you run into someone, it means that you met them without expecting to meet them, okay? I run into former students quite regularly because some of them live in the same town as my school. So sometimes when I go to the hardware store or the grocery store, I will run into them. I will meet them by chance a little bit. It's fun to run into people that you haven't seen in a while. To hang around and to hang around with. So to hang around simply means to wait. This person arrived on a train and maybe they're waiting to get picked up. So they're just going to hang around at the train station for a while. I know one time I landed, I went on a trip, and when I landed, my uncle was going to pick me up from the airport, but I had to hang around for about an hour and wait for him because he couldn't get there at the time when I needed to be picked up. So to hang around simply means to wait. It can also mean to be somewhere for no reason. Sometimes teenagers will hang around in front of a store. Sometimes they'll hang around at the park. In that sense, it means the same as to hang out. They'll hang out with their friends. They'll hang around at the park. Those are two good sentences. But generally, it means to just kind of wait. To hang around with is used more to talk about the people someone is friends with. So if you were to say, Bob, who do you hang around with? I would say, well, Mostly I just hang around with Jen, but I do have friends from high school who I actually haven't seen for a while. So I haven't been able to hang around with them for a bit. We should probably reconnect and go see a movie or something. So when you say hang around with, you're kind of mentioning specific people. Who does your nephew hang around with at school? Oh, he hangs around with some really nice kids, and they study together and they're getting really good grades. So to hang around, to wait, to hang around with, you mentioned the specific people who you are spending time with. To work out, couple meanings here. So it can mean to exercise. So a few days a week, I like to work out. I like to lift some weights. I like to walk vigorously for exercise. I like to work out. But it can also mean to solve. When you do a puzzle, you need to work out which pieces go together. When Jen plants in the flower bed, she has to work out how many she can put in each bed. Sometimes maybe, let's say your family has 2 vehicles and 3 drivers. You might have to work out who takes which vehicle when. So it can mean to work out to lift weights, but it can also mean to solve a problem or to figure something out. Very similar to figure out. And then to look forward to. So this is kind of a strange one. There's a lot of words here. It means to be excited about a future event. I look forward to my birthday every year in the summer. It's a very broad space of time in which my birthday happens. I look forward to going to work every day. It's actually a good thing. You should always be happy about going to work. Otherwise, maybe you should get a different job if possible. I know that's not possible for everyone. I look forward to the weekend. I'm always excited, like it's Friday today, and I'm really looking forward to tonight when I can come home and kick back and relax. There's a phrasal verb from a week ago. So to look forward to means to be excited about a future event or a future time. Hey, let's look at some questions. Let me just have a sip of water here. I know the first question is from Know That. I'll have it on the screen in just a moment. I did want to mention, thanks for being here. I know it is an hour earlier than normal, but my work schedule has changed. So this happened last year too. I will be teaching in the morning. Now I don't teach this morning, but I give an exam at 9 a.m. So I do have to rush from here straight to school. But starting next week, the next semester starts, and I am now teaching in the morning instead of the afternoon. So the Friday live streams will be at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time from now on. From Know That, hello, Bob. I did want to read, I saw a couple chats go by. Hafia said, those people are too happy to be working out. That made me laugh. And then I noticed another one back here. I don't know if I can find it. Crazy Camera says, once my car started to act up in the middle of the road, that is not fun. Let's see here. Maybe I can't find it. I'll just keep moving on with the lesson. Freddie Wolf says, to come across and to seem, are they similar? Yes. So I come across as nice. I seem nice. So it means you think. That's what I'm like. Oh, here it is. Know That said, we hang around with you, Bob, in some way. Yes, you guys hang around with me on Friday mornings. Very cool. Anyways, from Know That. Hello, Bob. Do to be fed up with something and to be tired of something have a similar meaning? If so, is one of them used more often than the other? Thanks in advance. So they're slightly different. They mean the same thing. You're having a negative emotion. You're not happy. When you're fed up with something, though, it can mean that you're like agitated or aggravated, maybe a little bit angry. When to be tired of something means you're kind of bored or it's not exciting. Okay. So I could say this, I'm fed up with my boss. He is not a nice person. So you can see how I'm not bored. I'm actually a little more aggravated or agitated or maybe a little bit angry. But if you are fed up, but if you are tired of something, you're like, oh, this is so boring. I don't have a lot of energy. I'm not excited about this. So slight difference, but still negative emotions. Hung says, I'm working hard creatively to fend off the obstacles in my life. Can I use get over instead of fend off? Do you suggest another phrase that better fits the sentence? Thank you. I'm working hard to fend off is great, by the way. When you fend off, it means you're defending yourself. Like you're like, okay, I have a hard day today. This person's going to be mean to me. I just need to fend off the negative emotions. Can I use get over? Yes, you could use get over. Although, if I think of it this way, I just need to fend off the bad parts of the day. I would probably use get through. I need to get through the bad parts of the day. That's how I would use it. Let's see. From Vera, hi Bob, thank you for doing live lessons. What's the difference between I better do it and I would rather do it? Are they both correct? Yes. I better do it is more affirmative though. If Jen says, we need to bake cookies and I'm really tired, I might say, okay, I better do it. So I'm communicating strongly that I'm going to do it. If I say I would rather do it, it means it's still kind of a choice. You know, it's not, I'm not being as affirmative. So it's a little more of a, you know, I'd rather do it, but if you want to do it, that's okay. But if I say I better do it, it's a little more like, hey, you seem too tired. I will step in. Shivani says, hello, Bob. Excited to meet you again. Do you do any work in your life besides posting a variety of English-based videos on YouTube? Yes, I am a high school teacher. I teach French and business and computer studies. I am switching semesters right now. Students are writing exams this week. This is the last day. And then next week we start semester 2. And I will be teaching French and business. So it should be a fun semester. Some people ask why I don't quit and just do YouTube. And I think the reason is because I enjoy my job. If you don't know what benefits are, I have good benefits at work. Like they pay for dental and pension and all that stuff. But mostly because I like it. I like going to work. I look forward to going to work every day. Fabian, hi, dear teacher Bob. Thanks a million for this incredible collection of classes about phrasal verbs. I have a question. Could you explain to us? Oh, so I'm going to change the F to a V. It should be live off of, and then thanks. So when you live off of something, probably the most common phrase is to live off the land. When you live off of the land or live off the land, you don't always need the of. Interesting. It means you grow your own vegetables and you produce most of your own food. You know, Joe and Frida, they're back together. Joe and Frida are, I think it was Joe, bought a farm and they're going to move away from the city and live off the land or live off of the land. That means they're going to grow their own vegetables. Maybe they have a few fruit trees. You can live off of the interest. Let's say you put $3 million in the bank and the bank pays you 4% interest on that money. You can live off of the interest. So it means you're using that money to live instead of working. Let me see here. I think I'm going to have a sip of water, read the chat, and we'll get back. G. Gorilla says, thank you, Bob, for making the great mood during the lesson. I'm in a surprisingly good mood considering I went to bed late and it's an hour earlier than normal. So, Afia says, yes, I never smile when I work out. Haha. Hello to you two, know that. So having a nice conversation for that. Yes, I try to always find pictures where people are happy to set a good mood during the lesson. But anyways, let's get back to the lesson. Let's do that. I would actually be happy if we could be done 5 or 10 minutes earlier than normal. So we'll see how that goes. Let me just check one thing. Yeah, I'll get back to that. We'll do get back to the lesson first. To burn out. If you work too much, you might burn out. So this person, you can see, is very sad at work. This person does not look forward to their work day. This person is definitely trying to get through their day. They're trying to fend off all of the obstacles in their day. But maybe they're not succeeding at that. So they look tired. They don't have energy. Maybe they've worked 12, 13, 14-hour days for weeks on end, and they're just super tired and they hate work. We would say that they have burned out, or we would say, oh, they need a vacation, or they might burn out. I have worked with people who have burnt out. It's not nice to see someone who maybe their life is really busy and work is really busy, and they just eventually run out of energy and they burn out. Not a nice thing. And then you definitely need a break. It's good to take a break. You can burn out at other things as well, by the way. You can burn out learning English. If you, let's say you're working 10-hour days and studying English 10 hours a day and sleeping 4 hours every night, you will burn out. I guarantee it. To fall apart. So this car is held together with tape because this car started to fall apart. We have things that are together, and when pieces start to fall off, there's another phrasal verb. When it starts to come apart, there's another phrasal verb. We could say that it is starting to fall apart. I think my one van is starting to fall apart a little bit. It's making some strange noises. There's some rust along the side. I'll show you in a video at some point. But I do think that my one van is starting to fall apart. It's not this bad. Okay, I haven't put tape on the side yet to hold it together. I use a lot of phrasal verbs, don't I? But definitely, once something's really old, it will start to fall apart. We have a couch where the one leg is breaking and it's starting to fall apart as well. We'll replace it someday, or I'll just put a piece of wood underneath to hold it up, to fix up. So sometimes people will buy things that are broken and they will fix it up. So they'll take some time to make it look nice, to make it look new again. Maybe they buy old furniture that has started to fall apart, and they might take it home and they might fix it up and make it look new again. They might fix it up so they can use it. It's a really good way to get things in life without spending a lot of money. If you're good at fixing things up, if you can fix things up easily, that's a great way to save money in life. This person looks like they bought an old car and they will now fix it up so that it looks like it's brand new again. To grow apart. Yeah, I couldn't find a great picture, and then eventually I found this one. When two people are in a relationship, maybe they're just friends, or maybe it's a romantic relationship, sometimes you can grow apart. Even in a family, people can grow apart. What this means is, let's say my brother and I didn't talk for a few months, and then all of a sudden it's been a year, and then 2 years. We would start to grow apart because we're not having any conversations. We're not seeing each other. We're not spending time together. We would grow apart. Sometimes in a romantic relationship, the couple will grow apart. They'll be dating for a while, maybe a year or two, but maybe the one person has interests in one thing and the other person has interests in something else, and they start to grow apart. They don't spend as much time together. They don't hang around with each other as much. And so they start to kind of live their own lives instead of spending time together. It's not nice when you see people start to grow apart, especially if you think they're a good couple. If it gets bad enough, one person might kick the other person out. Now, there's a variety of reasons for this, but it looks like this lady is going to kick out this guy. So obviously they are partners, and obviously the relationship, they're having trouble getting through their day. The relationship is just not working out. Maybe they've grown apart, past tense. Maybe they've grown apart, and it's gotten to the point where she's decided to kick him out. Maybe he did something bad. Like maybe he's been out with his friends all night, or maybe he was spending too much time with someone else. I don't know the details, but it's gotten bad enough that she is now going to kick him out. He will have to go live somewhere else. So understand that to kick out means the people are living together. Okay. They're either married or living together, and something has happened where they've grown apart. And maybe one of them has done something where they don't trust each other anymore. So whoever owns the apartment or house will kick out the other person. To pick out. Hey, that rhymes. To kick out, to pick out. When you pick something out, it means to choose. If you had lots of money and you decided you wanted a new car, you would go pick out a new car. You would go to the car dealership and you would pick out a new car. You would just look at all the cars that are there and you would pick out the one that you like the most. When you go shopping, you pick out new clothes. You look at all of the clothes in the clothing store and you try some on and you pick out some new shirts or some new pants that will fit you. So you will choose. You will pick out something new. To put out. So the meaning I'm looking at with this one is what firemen do and what you do when there's a fire and you extinguish it. There's maybe a new word for you. When you extinguish something, it goes from being on fire to not being on fire. That's why it's called a fire extinguisher. That's why the thumbnail has a fire extinguisher on it. These fire fighters are going to put out the fire. When we have people over in the summer, we have a small campfire. At the end of the night, we put out the fire. If you have a fire in your kitchen, you need to put it out quickly so that your kitchen doesn't burn to the ground. You don't want that happening. So by the way, you should always have a fire extinguisher handy, no matter where you live. To run out of. Sometimes we run out of milk. Sometimes I run out of money. I went on a trip a couple weeks ago and I had some money with me. And then eventually I thought, oh, I'm going to run out of money. I'm glad I have my bank card with me so I can use that to buy things. But yes, when we run out of milk, then we go and buy more milk. When I run out of money, sometimes I will go to the bank machine and I will withdraw more money. But definitely you can run out of different things. You can run out of gas, by the way. Sometimes you're driving and the little light comes on and says you need gas. And you think, oh, I can drive another day. But that's risky because you might run out of gas and then you'll be on the side of the road just waiting for someone to come and help you. Hopefully it's someone you can count on. Hopefully someone who you hang around with is available to come and help you. To catch on means to understand. Sometimes when I explain these phrasal verbs, you don't understand the meaning, but eventually you will catch on. If I explain it in enough ways, you will understand. You will catch on to what I'm saying. As a teacher, I'm always happy when students catch on. If I'm teaching a lesson and everyone's kind of confused, and then eventually they're like, oh, I get it. I understand. Then you would describe that as, oh, they were able to catch on to what I was saying. So it's nice when people catch on. Sometimes when you're playing a joke on someone, they won't understand what you're doing right away, but eventually they will catch on. To cut out. Now, I feel like I've talked about this one before, and I think I even used this picture. When you cut something out, it means you no longer consume it. It can also mean to take a piece of paper with a scissors and you can cut things out. But for instance, it's very popular in the world right now to try different kinds of diets. Some people try to cut out sugar. Some people who still smoke will try to cut out smoking, or they'll try to cut down on their smoking. That means to do less of it. These phrasal verbs seem to be readily available today. But I have done this in the past. I generally don't eat a lot of sugar. And there are times where I cut out sugar completely and just eat really healthy food. It's hard to do though, especially in North America. A lot of food has sugar in it. In fact, if you have never been to North America and you visited and bought bread, you would probably, depending on where you are from, you would probably find it quite sweet. We do tend to add sugar to a lot of things. So it's hard to cut out sugar. It's not hard to do. It's hard to find foods that don't have a lot of sugar. To do up. in the morning when I get ready, I wear shirts with buttons and I need to do up the buttons. You can also say button up. I can button up my shirt or I can do up my shirt. So this guy here, he has decided to wear a light purple shirt. And right now he is going to do up the top button. Sometimes when I wear a tie, I need to do up this top button. And I don't like it. I don't like wearing a tie. I don't like feeling all constricted around my neck. But if I wear a tie, I do up my top button. Or again, you could say button up. I button up my top button. To fall for something and to fall for someone. Slightly different meanings. Sorry, not slightly. Very different meanings. When you fall for something, it means you have been tricked, okay? So if you get an email that says, click here, if you send me $10,000, I will send you $1 million, whatever the scam is, you don't want to fall for that. You don't want to be tricked. This is probably the best example. So when you get a text, I got a text message the other day that said, bank account alert, click the following link to contact a representative. I'm like, I'm not going to fall for this. This is a scam. I know the status of my bank accounts. I know that my bank doesn't text, so I'm not going to fall for this. I'm not going to be tricked by this. To fall for someone, though, means to fall in love or to start to have feelings for them. Or sometimes in English, we'll say, sometimes people will have a crush on someone, and then as they spend more time with them, they'll start to fall for them. So it means I wouldn't say they're in love, but they're quickly starting to really, really like the person, and they're probably starting to fall in love. So different meanings. To fall for something means to be tricked. To fall for someone means to start to fall in love. Hey, let's do members only chat and let's do a few more questions. Let me get to members only chat mode. Where do I click? Right there. So right now, if you are a member, you can ask questions in the chat and I will answer them. And let me just check. I had a little warning sign come up, but I think everything's working. Yeah, we're good. So yeah, if you are a member, you can ask a question directly in the chat. Thank you for being members, by the way. If you want to know what membership is, there is a join button somewhere. You get an extra video on Wednesdays, a little guide for the week, a little written lesson for the week, things you can do each day to improve your English. You obviously get your name in green with a crown and you can participate in members only chat. So consider it. It does help support me. It's why I can be a part-time teacher instead of full-time and have more time for YouTube. I'm going to do questions from here and then jump to the chat. Nostron says, hello, Mr. Bob. Have a good day. I hope. What's the difference between think about and think of? Thanks a lot. So not sure how I describe both of these. They're in lesson 1 and 2. Think about to me is more of a general way of thinking. Like I'm going to think about, let's see, I'm going to think about what it will be like to get up earlier on Fridays. I'm going to think about that a bit today and see if there's anything I can do. When I use think of, I think of things or people. Like I don't think of my mom a lot during the week. I should call her more. Sometimes it's used to talk about an answer. Like I need to think of an answer for this question, or I need to think of a way to do this. So to me, think about is like wondering about something, and think of is like more specific. Hey, Marco gifted a membership to Zheng Chen. Very cool. Thanks, Marco, for doing that. That is awesome of you. And one question in the chat is from Know That, Bob, a little off topic. I came across the phrase, it's all in a day's work this week. Is this commonly used? In what context can it be used? Thanks, sir. So I've used this phrase. It's fairly common. It might be a bit older, like older people like me. But when you are doing something at work that's, I mean, it's not boring, but it's not enjoyable. It's just all in a day's work. It's just part of the day. It's kind of how we refer to Well, that's just the way it is. Let's look it up though. Meaning of all in a day's work says, talking about something unusual or difficult, accepted as part of someone's normal routine or as a matter of course. Yeah, so I talked about something boring or not exciting, but they're saying something that's hard to do. It's just all in a day's work. Like, it's basically saying, well, you have no choice. It's the job, so just do it. Let's see here. Freddie Wolf says, to fall for someone in Quebec, French, tomber en amour ou avoir un crush. Yeah, there's some English there, isn't there? No, that says, does to get the message have a more negative meaning? Oh, definitely. Yeah. So let's say a guy and a girl are dating, and whenever the guy calls, they're not dating. Let's say a guy is interested in a girl and he keeps texting her and she answers with really short answers. Like, no, I don't like, he's not getting the message. The message is she doesn't like him. So definitely, if someone does not get the message, it is negative. Yes. Lolly, cut out, give up, and quit. Same meaning. Yes. You can cut out sugar, you can give up sugar, or you can quit sugar. All the same meaning for sure. New Words with MP has gifted a membership as well. And I cannot say the name, but someone was gifted a membership. Very, very cool. Wait, maybe I do. No, I don't recognize it. I almost thought it was... excuse me, someone else. Anyways, Eugene, Automation Securum says, I have to sleep overtime this morning. Yeah, it's a different time, Eugene. Sorry about that. You had to get up a little bit earlier. And Olivia, welcome to membership of the channel. Very nice of you to join. No, that says, thanks very much. Lolly is welcoming Olivia. Very cool. Freddie says, Bob, your students have taken the first semester exam. What's happening if they didn't get good grades to pass the semester? Do they have to make it again? All the parts of the first semester? Merci. So in the Canadian system, if a student fails a class, they have one more chance to do extra work and they might still be able to pass it, but it is only available under certain conditions. So one of the conditions is, a student has to be willing to do it. Their parents have to agree to supervise them, and all of the work is done outside of class. It's pretty rare. There are other restrictions, I think, but generally if you fail, you fail. But in some situations, there's one last chance. Lolly says, merci pour ta réponse. Thanks for your answer. And people are saying, hi, very cool. Let me get another question on the screen. There we go. Andre says, hi, Bob. This is Andre, like Andrew in English, his name. Why do we understand more by listening than speaking in English? So I don't have any evidence for this, but I believe that you get better at the things you practice. And so I feel like the best way to get better at writing is to practice your writing and to get feedback. The best way to practice your listening is to listen a lot. I know it sounds kind of basic, but this is how I think things work. If you want to get better at speaking, you need to spend a lot of time speaking. And if you notice, when you read and listen, you don't necessarily need a teacher or a tutor to help you. But when you speak and write, it can be very advantageous. It can be very helpful to have someone correcting you at certain points. So that's how I would answer that one. Maria. Hi, Bob. I noticed you say the word eventually pretty often. In what meaning do you use this word? Are there any other meanings? Thank you. I mean, it will happen in the future. Eventually, I'll go to work. In about half an hour, I'll go to work. Eventually, I'll quit YouTube. But again, I said I'd do this 7 more years, so not yet. Eventually, all of my kids will move out of the house. So I'm talking about something in the future that will most likely happen. That's for sure. Hey, Brent's here. Very nice. Oh, Brent gifted a membership. Thanks, Brent. American English with Brent is here. Very cool. Haven't chatted with Brent for a bit. I know during Christmas break we chatted a bit. It just never Our schedules didn't line up to do a live stream together, but we'll still figure something out at some point. So thanks, Brent, for gifting that membership. And Brent says, remote day today. Ooh, nice. Brent gets to work at home. Some bad weather. Being a member of Bob's channel is very cool. Thanks for the shout out or the support there, Brent. I'm a bit jealous, but I only have a half day today. What would you choose? A remote day where you have to teach from home or a half day where you have to go to work? Interesting choice. Olivia says, hi, Brent. Nice to see you here. Hafia says, hope the weather will be better. And says, hey to Brent. Very cool. Know That says, how many semesters are there at your school? And do you have to teach all semesters or only special ones, e.g. semesters 1 and 2? I hope you know what I mean. So we have 2 semesters, semester 1 and 2. Some schools have a semester and then they'll have a small interim semester and then a second semester. We don't have that. My university had that. So we have 2 semesters. They're about 4.5, 5 months each. There's breaks in there as well. So semester 1 ends officially today. This is the last day of exams. And then semester 2 starts the middle of next week. A bunch of people saying, hi, Brent. Nice to see that. Freddie Wolf says, what? Are you serious? To cut off Bob's lessons? Oh, no, that will never happen. No, you know me. I will just slowly age in front of the camera until I'll do this till I can't figure out what buttons to push because I'll be so old that I'm just making myself laugh now. Hey, let me get another question on the screen. Mr. Azaz, hi, Bob. I've never heard you say ain't. So ain't is an interesting word, and I ain't going to say it now. It's not that I don't use it. I think it's because, like Brent as well, probably doesn't use the word very often in our professional day. So at school as a teacher, I talk a certain way. I guess it's a little more proper. So I probably wouldn't use the word ain't. Like if a student said, I'm going to leave the room right now without asking, I wouldn't say, hey, you ain't going to do that. I would probably say, hey, you're not going to do that. Let's talk about this. If you need to go, please ask first. That was not a great example, but I think we're trained, or at least we learn how to speak in a certain way where we don't use a lot of the informal speech in our jobs. Let's see. Jack, hi, Bob. Thanks for having a lesson. What's the difference between do up and dress up? So I dress up when I go to school. I don't wear a t-shirt. I wear a shirt with a collar. I don't wear a tie, though. I could dress up even more and wear a tie. My kids, when they were young, would dress up for Halloween. They would wear a costume. They would dress up as a bear or a tiger. Do up, though, in terms of how you look, I think it's more like, you can use it in the sense like if Jen puts makeup on, she might say, oh, I'm going to do myself up a bit. Or if you have long hair, you can do up your hair, which means to style it above. So definitely, yeah, I don't use the word do up a lot, maybe because I'm a guy. I don't know. Tricky one. Maybe there's some insight in the chat on that one. Okay, let me see in the chat there. Brent saying hello to people. Madi says hello. Hi, good to see you, Madi. Hopefully I'm not missing. Let me just go back. I did know that's question. Down here. Kakachen says, ha, I watched your video about ain't American. Oh, what did Brent say? Am I contradicting what Brent said? I should check. Afia says, both Bob and Brent are too young to use ain't. Possibly. Yes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. True. You probably meant that you were getting younger in front of the camera. Yeah, that'll be possible, won't it? I'll just be able to apply filters that make me look younger as time goes by. Okay, good. I'm going to go back to the lesson. Let me get members only chat turned off. Thank you very much for being members again. I do really, really appreciate it. It does help it makes the Bob the Canadian English Machine run well when I have lots of members for a variety of reasons. Helps me buy equipment, helps me pay for subscriptions, and it helps me enjoy live streams because I get to know some of you. When you are a member, it's easier for me to get to know you a little bit as we do these lessons. Okay, and speaking of lessons, let's finish this one up. To sort out. So again, this is another one where you don't really need the word out, but Jen and I like to sort out our garbage. We sort out our recycling. So we put our garbage in one bin. We put plastic in another bin. We have a container in the shed where we put our metal so we can bring it to the metal recycling. We sort out all of our garbage and trash. Again, you can just say sort. We're going to sort the garbage. We're going to sort out the garbage. So we don't always need the extra word, but hey, it's English. Extra words are what we're all about, I think. Sometimes you need to sort out your garbage. To take up. So this means to start something. In the winter, sometimes I take up a new hobby. I've never taken up the violin, but I could take up astronomy. I could take up photography. I could take up cooking. It means to begin a new thing where you are learning. I could take up stamp collecting. I could take up small engine repair. I could learn how to do that. So when you start to learn something or do something, we sometimes use the verb to take up. To take apart. So I have never done that with my phone. This guy seems to be good at it though. If you want to see what's inside of something, you can take it apart. Maybe this phone is broken and the person needs to take it apart in order to fix it. I know one of my older phones, I needed to take it apart to put a new battery in. My newer phones, you can't replace the battery, which is annoying because I had to replace my last phone because the battery started to get bigger inside, but there was no way to take apart the phone. And even if I could, there was no replacement battery to put in it. So if you have something and you take out all the screws and you open it up, we use the phrasal verb to take apart. To wear out. Now, believe it or not, these jeans I think are actually brand new because sometimes for a while there, people like to wear jeans that already looked like someone had worn them out. But when you wear something out, it gets holes in it. I can't wear this shirt my whole life. Eventually, I will wear out. It's actually starting already. I will wear out the elbows and they will get holes in them. And then I can patch them up for a bit. But when you wear something out, it means it starts to be broken. You can wear out a vehicle. Like if you drive a vehicle until it has 300,000 or 400,000 kilometers on it, you would say, oh, I'm starting to wear out the brakes. I'm starting to wear out the engine. It's starting to get old and break down. To throw away. So when you have something that you don't want anymore, you will throw it away. This always bothers me when a lot of people are at a party together. Often people will throw away food because I don't know if this happens in your country. When we have a party, people bring a lot of food and sometimes they put too much food on their plate. Sometimes kids do this. And then when they can't eat it all, sometimes they will throw it away. And I'm always like, no. Let's put it in the fridge. Let's freeze it. Don't throw away the extra food. I don't throw away food very easily. But you can use this for other things as well. We don't do this as much. We recycle more. But there are still things that you need to throw away because it can't be recycled. I'm trying to think of something. Some of the packaging that food comes in, we throw away because it can't be recycled in Canada. So when you throw something away, it means you get rid of it. Hey, that's the end of the formal part of the lesson. Let me answer some questions if there are any. I think there's one or two, but I would like to wrap this up in about 2 minutes. So let's see here. No, that says you don't need filters to look younger. That says, but your hair may become whiter. That could be possible. I just bought a gray sweatshirt and I realized the sweatshirt is the same color as my hair. I'll wear it in a lesson in the future and you guys can see it. Let's see here. People chatting away. Marty says, I used to work on phone electronics. So you probably would take apart phones every once in a while. Fez says, hello, I'm following you from Morocco. I really like the way you teach. Thank you very much. Hafia says, pizza. Yeah, you should never throw away pizza. You should never throw out pizza. There's another way to say it, by the way. Throw out, throw away. Okay, I said I would look at another question. Let's see here. From Olivia. Hi, Bob. Thanks for the live lesson. And I'm confused of the meaning catch up on. What does it mean and in what situation can I use it? So if I was taking a night class and if I needed to read one chapter of a book every week and I didn't do it for 3 weeks, I would need to catch up on that work. I would need to catch up with the class, but I would need to catch up on the work. So slight difference between catch up with, catch up on. Okay, so I need to catch up on some work. This weekend, I actually was really busy this week. I need to catch up on some YouTube work. So it means to get back to the place where you want to be in terms of the work you have to do. That's how I would describe it. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm not going to spend a lot of time today chatting, but I will try to build that in the future. I hope you have a good weekend. This lesson will come out in a shorter version in a couple days. Please be sure to listen to it or watch it again, or even just find the parts you didn't quite understand. I do have a better AI subtitle maker for the edited version of this. So they have the videos on that come out in a couple days have much better subtitles. So if there's a little 5-minute or 10-minute clip you didn't understand, rewatch it with subtitles on, and that should help a bit. Anyways, I'm going to say bye to Madi, Lolly Lolly, Key Park, Teo, Irop, Roswell, Hafiez, American English with Brent, Know That, Kaka Chen, and everyone else. Naomi, everyone, bye. Cat Diary. Hope you have a good week, and I will see you. When will I see you? Well, next week with another live lesson, part 4. It's going to be the last one for now, but part 4 next week, and then we'll keep going on. Freddie says that the time of that lesson flies away as usual. Thanks so much. Yeah, the time does go quick. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's still possible to warn me. Yeah, for sure. It's ending. Anyways, bye everybody. Have a good day. See ya.